Hey all, welcome to Parker's Reefs. On today's episode, we're hopefully going to dispel some mysteries surrounding ICP testing in the aquarium industry with thanks to the boys at Triton. Alright guys, thank you for joining me on yet another episode of Parker's Reefs, and as touched on in the intro, today's plan, fingers crossed, is to hopefully dispel some of the mysteries and some of the uncertainties around ICP testing in this reef aquarium hobby that we all love. Now, I will start off by saying I've been in this hobby for about 13 or 14 years now, and I've been using ICP for a good chunk of that time, and I will be the first to confess I don't actually understand how it works, not even at a high level. All I know is that I get my little vials here, I fill them up with water, I put my details on a website, I chuck them in the mail, and then normally about a week later, I get a listing of all my results and some advice based on those results. And that's very unusual for me. I typically like to have at least a high level understanding of how something works before I trust it and then use it, and also put my faith in it with my dream reef tank. So when I started chatting to Ehsan and also Julian, and of course Sean and Linda at Triton Labs, and I started asking some questions about how ICP works, they said, you know what, it might be best if you jump on a plane, bring a sample of water with you, and we'll go through the entire process with you. So it sounded like an opportunity that was too good to turn down, so I did just that, and it's probably time we rolled the footage. Hey Sean, how you doing, man? I've got my water sample here. Any chance we can put it through the Triton ICP?
Yeah, mate, no worries. Come through.
Beautiful, let's do it. Ehsan, working in the lab, mate. All right, Ehsan, you're gonna lift off the lid and explain in high-level terms for us everyday reefers out there how this incredible piece of technology behind you, what is known as an ICP machine, and we'll go into some of the differences of different machines and how they work and stuff in a moment, but this is a super exciting moment for me because I've been using ICP for a number of years, thanks to people like Triton. I have no idea what it does, how it works. Well, I know what the outcome is, but I have no idea how it actually works, and I've got to be honest, that's very unusual for me. I normally know how things work before I believe them. So
yeah, you should. It's kind of, I honestly think that's a time thing. So when we started it, like 2008, everybody's come and visiting us.
Yes.
You know, so we were very open. We showed, like, I actually had a podcast right now with the guys from Reef Builders, and I said, and they were like, hey, you really bought an ICP to Magna.
Yes.
2014, right? That's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I got a machine shipped over to Magna and run it on the Magna, because on the trade show, like, you know, because you need to show people, you actually need to know how it works.
People need to know how it works.
You're buying
it's something that's been shrouded in mystery. Not so much from yourself, but just in general, for the everyday reefer out there, we just know that we put our samples in the post, and then a couple of weeks or a week later or however long it may be, you get an email with all of your different parameters there, and what happens in between is in total mystery to us all.
Yeah, the mystery thing is maybe slipped a bit off Triton's, like you know, we wouldn't realize that maybe walking on doing all the science and stuff, that actually so many new people came into the hobby that weren't there 2014 when I mean, you know, in America, I don't think there are too many people left from 2014, you know, so we kind of did that and then forgot about it. So yeah, come in, I'll show you. I've done that like 1 million times, so it's no problem. But we normally, when we sell something, we back in it very much, so we show you transparently everything that we can. It's not like we can explain to you how to do it, because then that's what our
Of course, you've got intellectual property there.
Yeah, but it's not that much. Like, it's not hard for people to understand. And for reef keeping, for the average reef keeper, there's not too much. Like, there's errors. There's he's concerned about little things that I think we can cover here pretty much, and they understand what they get.
Okay, great. So, going from step one, I can see a pile of express post envelopes over there. People grab their Triton ICP kit from their local fish shop or wherever, they fill up their vials, they scan their barcode, they connect it up to their aquarium on the cloud system.
Yes.
They then post them into you, and that is when they arrive. You guys get samples of vials of water that people have sent in.
Yes. So we get the samples in, like, obviously, you know, posted.
Yes.
there's something that I'll just say because of Sean and me, like don't post them in like it's not like a super security thing. Just post them in the same box, that's
that
fine.
Box,
They won't break.
needs.
They're very strong.
Yes.
That little vials we use, they're centrifuge,
Yes.
so you actually can kick them and nothing will happen. Okay, so it's not, and there's three in there and we have one spare. So even if one is broken, no problem, right?
Problem.
So just don't overdo the packaging because it's kind of hurting that sustainability idea.
Of course, yeah, we're trying to be sustainable in this hobby.
Yeah. I mean, we're unpacking things and putting it in the trash, so it's just we don't want to do that too often.
Yes.
But it will work. It's normal in every country we started. It's okay. So we get the samples in. Then Sean will scan them, right?
Yes.
So people get an email, it's scanned. We go to the post office, get them,
Yes.
scan them. Then with this scanning, we also get some information out of it. Sometimes they're not connected, so please connect them. Always connect them before you ship them.
Yes.
Right? Don't wait, because if they arrive, we scan them, they're not connected, we leave them somewhere because we need to find out who it is, right?
Yes.
So it's a bit of a taking longer for you guys. So he's scanning them, we get some information out of it if we need them, not really needed, and then we actually separate the barcode. So one is going into the spare box, right? And that's the spare box for a week.
Okay.
So we put them in there, so we can find them if we need the spare.
Sure. Yep. If something goes wrong, you've got the spare there.
We have them separated because then we can easily find them quickly.
Yes.
And then you have them sitting actually here normally, all rolled up for going into the fluoride testing or going into the ICP, right?
Sure.
ICP is normally first, doesn't really matter, but normally we'll do that first. So you go scan the samples, put them in, scan them into the row. So we have an auto sampler, it means that this thing just goes on its own and tests everything.
Yes.
All labs work like that, like you don't go out with a hand, that's just too many tests for
Of course, it's obviously fairly standardized equipment, but still important that there's no risk of contamination there. No one's actually physically touching these bottles. They get sat in there and then the machine grabs the sample from there.
Very important, yes. So an OES does not need any dilution, right? So you can run methods on here that do not dilute the sample, which is very important because every handling of the probe, of the sample, will cause contamination. Error.
Of course,
you don't want to have anything, right? So you honestly, Sean, really take them, open them up, and scan them so it's in the row so we know.
Yes, so the machine knows which one's in which order.
And then we put it in here, and this thing is like a bit of a CNC thing, and it just moves in a position and goes down with that needle here.
Yes.
What is important to this is it goes into the sample, tests the sample, so it runs into the machine, which I'll explain in a second.
Yes.
But then what happens is it goes back to get cleaned, right? So, and it gets cleaned in a very intelligent way. So it's gone, cleaning fluid, it's in here, special cleaning fluid, it's not on the water. And then it cleans it from outside because the needle goes from one thing to the other, right?
Of course.
So you clean it from the outside, water is flowing outside of it, and it sucks in all this cleaning fluid and it cleans every little hose leading to it inside. So it's everything clean for the next test.
Between each and every sample, it gets cleaned inside, outside of the syringe, through all of the lines, right through into the machine.
Exactly.
Completely clears that out.
You need to do that. That's also a standard thing.
Of course.
People do not know that, right? So this is the way it works. So you don't have cross-contamination. You don't have one sample contaminating the next. Right?
Yes.
And then when this happens, obviously you enter the area of the method. So you enter the area of the insides of this machine. I'm not going to dive super deep in it, but it's not that hard. So what this sampler does is kind of going in and sucking in your sample, right? And your sample need to be, it can't just go like hard, just go in there. Like it can't go all into the plasma, it will extinguish the plasma, right? So only a little bit is needed to go in there. And what you do is you nebulize it. So that thing here is a nebulizer.
Right.
It creates a little fine spray, a mist.
Yes.
And that mist is gone up here.
Okay.
And the rest is sucked out. So mostly it's just gone away. But you will get really nice and fine mist.
Nice little mist of your water sample.
Yes, exactly.
And that then enters the plasma, which is
located actually here.
Located in there.
Yeah, you will have the plasma.
Yes. The purpose of the plasma?
So I'll go slow. So, so you have your sample pressed in here, right?
Yes.
All this is method, you can't buy it.
Yes.
Right? And this is also the stuff that you would say, I need to certify from a certifier externally. You know when people talk about that?
Yes.
That's this part. It's
Okay.
not the machine is always the same. So it's
Yes.
always this part to be certified. If you want to ask questions afterwards.
Sure.
Diving deep, okay? But so the plasma itself is the main thing analytically for separation. So what
Okay.
we do is always in analytics we say we have a separation and a detection unit, right?
Okay.
So the ICP, the plasma itself, the inductive coupled plasma, is the separation. So your sample is going in there and it's
Yes.
getting so hot
Yes.
that the atoms in there will get an energy load more. Like they got,
Right.
we call it excited. Right?
Yes.
So they're all excited and then they move because it's so hot and they move into a cooler area of the plasma, which is
Yes.
like a tip of it.
Yes.
Right? And it's facing right that hole. I'll probably show you.
Sure. Obviously, the machine is off at the moment.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that'd be incredibly hot.
You can't, yeah. you will shut off right away.
Yeah.
So there's a little hole in here.
Yes.
Right? You can say maybe better from here. So it's kind of a little hole that your light is going through, right?
Right.
So there's a lens on this side,
Yes.
it magnifies it a bit, and the light is going through there,
Yes.
right? Everything else will be sucked out from the vent. Right?
Yes.
Just going up, going,
So
right?
it-
All the salt, all the dirt, it's just going away.
Heats it up, gets it excited.
Yes.
Only the light from that excitement goes through into the actual
Exactly.
measurement side.
Follows over. So you get all these elements excited.
Yes.
They will glow
Yes.
in a specific color.
Right,
We
right.
can show you that too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cool. Like so, all of the calcium, strontium, all of them have different colors. You won't see it in a sample like that with your eye.
No.
You only see the orange of the sodium.
Yes.
Because that's the orange color, right?
Yes. Much like, when we look at when we see sunlight,
Yes. Like
it's got all sorts of spectrums in there, but
Yeah.
we really only see one color because
Yeah.
they're all blended.
Yes, and it's also working the same way with fireworks.
Yes.
So they're all different elements.
Yes.
They glow in
yes.
different colors.
Okay.
right?
Good analogy. I like that. Yes.
So it's the same thing. So now when we have the light and all salt is sucked out, which
Yes.
is very important because
Yes.
that's a very bad thing, like the salt,
Yes.
right?
And for those who don't know, like ICP machines, they weren't invented for saltwater testing.
No.
they,
No, that's a really good story. Like when I bought my first ICP machine, like 2011 or something.
Yes.
The guy that actually was sell it to me, he always said like, "You sure? Like, are you sure? Because it's not going to work."
Yes.
So, and I said, "No, I'll make it work." And it's like, "You sure?" Like it was, always like that. And that guy got actually a really good friend of our family
Yes.
at the end. He was out of the sales thing. He was older, and that was really cool. Like he was an Austrian guy. I remember
Yes.
him.
So just to go back to that for a second. So they weren't really initially designed or built for saltwater. What were they built for? Freshwater or for something else altogether?
You can use them for a lot of things.
Yes.
Right? Because what you buy is only separation
Yes.
and detection.
Okay.
So as long as you can somehow
Separate
run
it,
it
yep.
into this
Yes.
plasma,
Yes.
and so you can test, for example, honey with it. There are
Yeah,
companies
right.
I don't know how to do it. Like, it's hard. I mean, like it's gluey stuff. So but they do it.
Yes.
And then there's other companies that made, for example, they made, like you call it laser abrasion. So you have a laser,
Okay.
and they test solids with it. So you
Right.
put your bone,
Yes.
like a piece of bone, and
Yes.
then they shoot a laser on it,
Yes.
and get like fine mist that get
Okay.
really, you know what I mean?
So they create the separation that way.
Yes, and
they
then
measure.
sucked it into the plasma. That will work too.
Okay, okay.
So you kind of the method of testing.
Yes.
This is the IP.
Yes.
This is what only we have.
Yes.
This is also what makes the difference to all the other tests, and also what makes it different to when you send it to us or send it to somebody else.
Sure.
I remember the beginning when we got first, like somebody thought that's a good idea and I want to do it too, was they came up online with, "Oh yeah, look, it's exactly the same like Triton," which is impossible. Like you
Yes.
can't have exactly the same results.
Yes.
But this was what people they want to see that because
Yes.
we have proven it. So
Yeah,
then
because you guys have been doing saltwater ICP for how many years now?
12 since 2012 actively
Yes.
selling. I
Yes.
think 2011 I started it.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were alone, I think, for more than 3 years or something. And
I know you've told me off camera how much effort and how long it took for you, particularly when the people that sell you the machine are telling you that you cannot do it with salt water.
Yeah, it was very difficult. Like, I'm really honest with you. Like, I was sleeping on the keyboard. It's very hard because they don't help you. They can't.
No, they don't know
what
territory. Yeah.
Nobody knows what you need. Like, it's not only the testing. It's also like, okay, so now I have the values, but what do I do with it? Because there was no knowledge about it. So we need to explore and find out what set points we really need in an aquarium. What is high, what is low. So there was so much work. People, and nobody else is doing it. Like, I mean, if I did it, so why do you need to do it again? Like, So normally all the set points, all that knowledge is just taken by the next guy, and just so it's all our knowledge out there, which is good. I'm very proud of that. But it was a lot of work. Like Linda always, she always says, I have not seen him for a year. Like I was really in the lab all the time, making this work. And the main thing is the salt. So it's very difficult to run samples behind each other having that much salt because they clog up everything. And you need to clean the machine very often. So we clean it, we calibrate it. It's like a very consistent job to do this, but I made it work. So after we did that, obviously the company that selling the machines were not saying it's impossible anymore.
No, of course
so
not.
They started selling it into our industry.
Sure.
So but anyway, when you have this part, right, and you can handle that method will handle everything, but then you get it to this part to be in the plasma, everything is fine, you get constant light output, then the light will travel, the dirt will go out, very important, again, I'll tell you, that's the horrible part of it, the salt in the salt water, right? And there is a little kind of prism in here.
Okay, yes.
And it will create all of the colors of light that we talked about, like the fireworks. And this light will travel on sensors. They're sitting all around here.
Okay.
Right? So you need to really imagine like a rainbow inside of this thing. You can't see it, but it is a rainbow. Right? And this area is filled with argon gas. It's inert. Right? It gets filtered permanently, so there's nothing inhibiting that light.
Okay.
That's also the main part that the company builds. That's their IP.
Yes.
So when you have that, you can then actually digitalize this information. So the water gets light, and the light gets a digital value for us in here. So the CCDs, that little chips that are sitting here, are the same like in the cameras. And that's actually really funny because before I started this, ICP was there, but it hadn't had a CCDs. It was like monochromatic sensors. And they were like really bad. Like, so you couldn't really go that down and use it. So only the technology part that changed actually from the digital cameras made it possible for us to use it. Because then it got interesting. Also the old ones were still, when I bought my first one, there was still an old one that was sold by the same company, was nitrogen cooled. So because it's so hot, like they needed like really big nitrogen cooling systems to get that cooled down, otherwise it melts. So it's to 10,000 degrees. It's like the surface of the sun. It's really hot, right? So you can cut a tank with it. It's easy. No? But now they're air cooled. I don't know how they do it, IP, but they're air cooling. So now this is a very compact, good machine to use.
Fantastic.
And we can use, if you look at MS technology.
I was going to ask about that. So this is an ICP OES. And there is also ICP MS. Tell me the very high level overview difference between the two machines.
The difference, they're both like machines that are like justifiable for what they do. Right? But these machines are much more robust, right? So it's actually that part of separation. So the separation is the same. Until here, both machines are the same.
Okay, right.
Only the detection is different.
Right.
So really everything here is the same thing. Just from here we cut it and put the MS here. And it's down,
right.
So ICP, inductive coupled plasma.
Yes, the ICP part where your argon gas, your plasma flame,
yes,
the separation all remains the same on that side.
That's why it's called ICP in both machines.
Yes.
And then you go OES, optical emission spectroscopy.
Okay.
Or MS, mass spectroscopy.
Okay.
Okay. So this machine is very robust because we measure light.
Yes.
We also are very broad band.
Yes.
Right? Because every of these atoms will not only emit one kind of light. It will emit a lot of lines, we call them, different lights. So if one of them is kind of not good for you because there is interference, jump to the next one, measure it somewhere else. Easy, right?
Yes.
Very clean too. So we have 40 or over 40 elements we measure. So if you think about that, they all interfere with each other.
Sure.
So we need the possibility to move over to other lines.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So there might be the same light emitting at one point very close.
Yes.
Phosphate iodine, for example.
Sure.
Right? Just to give questions, give me, no problem.
Of course.
But what you then have is we suck all dirt out.
Yes.
Right? Very simply said, all the dirt goes out there. Right?
Yes.
And nothing enters that closed argon-filled area, which is always clean and nice and can measure perfectly.
Just the light.
Just the light. And light is have no interference with each other, just go on there, measure, digital, done. When you have an MS, it actually kind of weighs the different atoms.
So it separates out the different atoms and then collects them and weighs them.
Yeah, it's more complicated than that.
I'm sure it's more difficult.
Yeah, it does that.
Yes.
Like, you know, normally you will use a quadrupole, so it's like a magnetic field. They force them off each other, sample them. It's like really crazy. But it's little holes everywhere.
Yes.
So and you have running salt water through all these little things.
Yeah.
It takes 2 days. Everything.
And everyone knows how
and you can't
how messy salt water is.
Cleaning that is really horrible too, and the detector is like 30-40 grand.
Wow.
It's really, because it's gone really low.
Yes. Well, you're measuring, at a molecular level.
Yeah, but the main method difference is you have a low LOD, you can go very low, but you're prone to a lot of more errors because they're not that robust.
Yes.
So this machine can take, like I'll say, I'm not touching the sample at all.
Yes.
And we put it in, while an MS need to be diluted to 0.2% salinity.
Right, okay.
So that's what is the highest amount they can take.
Yes.
And we have 3.5.
Yes.
So you need to dilute the sample like 40 times, 50 times, whatever, to make it really work well.
Right.
Which still works, kind of, but you have a lot of handling.
It's another layer of another potential error.
And a lot of error, because for example, even if you go 10 times, 9 milliliters would be the dilution liquid you test.
Yes.
So if anything is in there, it will show up 10 times higher in you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just not the way we like trace element analysis, and we're prone to error anyway because of the sampling and stuff. So I don't think that's a really good way. But anyway, the machine will work in a way that weighing the atoms, but the problem is the atoms shine in a lot of light. So different lights you can choose in between and overcome issues.
Yes.
While they only weigh a specific amount.
For sure.
So there's no way you can go away from that weight.
Yes.
Right? And the problem is that the plasma will sometimes, in many cases, based on chloride, not separate clean. Okay. So there is chloride that stays together.
Right.
Chloride sticks to other stuff, even passing the plasma, then going into that chamber with the magnetic field and stuff, and all this stuff, then it will weigh the same thing, like the way because it's two things, weigh not like chloride, maybe the weight is something and interfere.
Yes.
So then you need a collision chamber. You have like a mess. I know exactly what to do, but it
gets complex.
Horrible. Yeah. So if that's the difference actually between them, if you want to know. But this is the straightforward, more robust way to do it.
Definitely. All right. So just to give an overview, samples come in. They get scanned to say that they're arrived, they get laid out, the spares get set aside should there be a need for them. Sean then lays them out on the racks, basically goes through the machine and tells it which samples at which location. The machine then cleans the syringe inside out, grabs the sample, sends it into the machine here. There is a plasma flame in there, which...
Not a flame. Yeah, but... Come on.
Look at the science in you. There's a plasma... There is plasma in there.
Exactly, there's plasma in there.
There's plasma in there which excites them, separates them, which then allows us to see via the light, which then splits into the different colours, allowing us to then identify the different amounts of each one of those elements in there.
Yes, and they are linear to each other. That's making it very easy. So for people to understand, like, you know, I have questions about like, oh yeah, how my HANA checker is showing that phosphate and stuff. And like, it's all right, but this thing is really something different. It's not a HANA checker.
No, exactly.
You know, like it's not the droplet test kit, right? So somebody need to really do science on them to understand what error is. So we calibrate it normally either in the night after the run, clean it, or in the morning. We have standardization between the tests, very important, so people understand what quality they get, right? So we test a known sample in between, so we know that if there is something wrong, it can be either recalculated or it can be just said, no, this is not the way, it's not right. Good quality, redo the sample, and that's what we have the spare for.
For sure.
The reality is that this is a very safe process.
Yes.
And after that, we still not rely on all the processing power in that computer. Then the raw data actually, it's not raw data anymore, it's combined data, because the machine will test in light speed. So literally test your calcium 15,000 times or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's something that blows my mind. So we're not just doing one test. So you water's going through the plasma, the light shines through, the sensors all around that curved part of the OES machine there. They're calibrated and set up to catch that color of light, that spectrum of light for that element. They measure it, but they don't just do one measurement.
Nah.
It's not like you're doing a test and you're counting the number of drops, you got one measurement.
No.
Because as you say, it's light speed. So it's measuring the intensity of that color.
Yeah, in 10 minutes, over the 10 minutes all the time. So it's like bam, 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 bam. You get like permanent measurements.
Yes.
You need to do that because the fluctuation in that plasma, there is a little bit. So, and also it's not homogeneously everywhere, like the little amounts, for example, like for the really low trace elements, we measure 35 seconds or more one time and then 3 times that.
Right.
You know, like, so it's actually always the same, but we look at it after like, let's say 35 to 40 seconds and then combine them to one value. Then we do it again.
Yes. Okay.
Combine them to a value, then we do it again. Combine them to a value, and then we take the average of these values.
Yes.
So you have like, that's a very high percentage.
Quite a lot of tests.
Yeah. So but you know, when you're at home, if you would be analytically correct, you would need to do at least 5 tests on your droplet test.
Yes.
And then take the average, because that's your number.
Yeah.
You know, so and then you need to do it, and your wife should do it one time, and your daughter should do it one time.
Yes.
You get
to
a clearer picture.
Bias.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, so but no one does that.
No, of course
it's okay. This is actually very much usable. It's a very good data set that you get. Then you will get the calculations out of this whole measurements, and then we push them up to our cloud.
Yes.
And I'm then gone, actually we can go up and I can show you.
All right, so while Ehsan is getting the results, over here we can see Julian and Linda working on a brand new, get a little sneak peek of a product here, covered up. We can't go into too much details there, but for those who don't know, Triton is quite the family operation. Ehsan and Linda moved out from Germany with the family to be here in Cairns, Australia, which is a huge commitment and a testament to the work that goes into Triton behind the scenes. All right, Ehsan, now that the lab has finished with the testing, the results are then sent off into a cloud for you to personally assess, just to make sure there's nothing unusual in the results there. Can you take us through a little bit of that process?
Yes, it's not hard. Like we obviously came up here into the office area, which is not only the only area I'm doing it, so I can do it from home or from my phone. I just found out I can do it. It's very little, but I can do it. So realistically, is we get the data from all the labs, right, will be uploaded into like a cloud area, like you say. And And then it will, but also while it's uploaded, it create like the corrected form of it. So we have, because of the control samples,
Yes.
it will kind of figure out if there's any error,
Sure.
clean them up already.
Yes.
So we have like the LOQs that I'm, talked about is it's something that the limit of quantification is fixed by me, right?
Yes.
Because I'm the guy that created the method.
Yes.
So then the computer knows this LOQ, so it will not go over or under some specific
Sure.
amounts and delete them. It will, but also create a secondary file for me, which is the raw file.
Right.
So then I get both on the server,
Yes.
get them down to me wherever I am. I'm here now. That is a numbers file for me now, right?
Yes.
It's a simple file. There is other versions of it where there are red flags in there and stuff. If there's something like lead coming up and I need to warn somebody or stuff like that. And then I'll look at it. If I feel it is good and there is no error from the calculations and
Yes.
stuff, I'll upload directly.
Yes.
If I feel that there is a very unusual thing going on, like too much lead, for example, or titanium, that's very rare, that is not really in solution,
Yes.
I will have a second look. So I go onto the computer,
Yes.
like onto the machine, I
Yes.
can hook up to it, and then I'll go into the lines and check them. So that's not very often, right?
Sure,
But it happens, like let's say once every 5 uploads or something.
Okay, well,
I
that's
need-
fairly often.
Yeah, no, because 5 uploads is a lot of,
Okay.
like a lot of tests. So
Yes.
if you run once a day, I
Yes.
always need to do that. I need to check it because, but mostly it's not an error. It's just like me checking it.
Yes.
If really everything went fine, there's
Sure,
no interference, no nothing showing up, no. And then I upload that one too, and that's the way it works, right?
Okay.
If there's anything I think is wrong, I will force to redo the test, but
Yes.
that's not very often.
No. So in layman's terms, the machine runs the samples across. It does many tests across that one sample, even for each element. It'll take heaps and heaps of tests, average those out. Your process will then also put them through correctional factors and,
Yes.
and based against calibration fluids.
Yes.
It will then give you that corrected data along with the raw data for you then personally to review.
Yes.
If you're then happy with it, you upload it to the end user.
Yes, exactly. So there is a standardization process in between. So that's like a calibration.
Yes.
That will be carried out from our like core calculation power. So that's our server doing it.
Yes.
While the compacting that many tests that we do, like
Yes.
getting one like amount out of it,
Yes.
that's the machine still doing.
Yes,
So you have
yeah,
the
yeah.
machine, you have the calculation power of the machine, then you have the computer on the machine, realistically, for
Yes.
an IT guy.
Yes.
And then you have the calculation in the server, which
Yes.
is a very high amount of calculations there. And then you come to me as a final
As a human
quality
element.
control. Yes. That's
Amazing.
the way it works. Yeah. But you need
many
to do it.
levels of checking.
Yeah, you need to do it. There's tests have been done from external, like just from people, from hobbyists,
Yes.
which are not like the thing you nail it down, but you can see that on there. Like you can see this quality control compared to no quality control.
Yes.
And it's important. It's very important to not panic people. Like you get things and you want to give them data that they're not panic and go 50% water change.
Yes.
That's the way it works.
Hey Sam,
Yeah.
you know that prototype product that you got a sneak peek of?
Yeah.
Here's a little sample, mate, for you to clean. Have a crack.
Sneak peek, thanking you.
Good luck, mate.
Cheers.
Keeps in the loop.
Now, once the end user does receive that data, they don't just get the values, which would be, I mean, that's realistically what most of us are after, but Triton have also got set points that they recommend,
Yeah.
that you guys do samples of water
Yes.
from all different biotopes, different reefs, different
Yes.
parts of the world.
Yeah.
You build up a database.
Yes. And you shouldn't be only after the results.
No.
Because that's so wrong.
Yes.
I'll tell you that. That's not made for that. Nobody will help you with them.
Yes.
And it's not like, when I started this, I told you, like there's no data available what these elements do,
Yes.
except the ones that we created. That's why we are here at the Reef and even still do the science behind it.
Yes.
There's nobody else in the world have ever done that with an ICP at the Great Barrier Reef. There is
Yes.
nobody, right?
Yes.
So you either just go have your results and then put it on Facebook and say, please somebody help me, or you receive a service that helps you with these things.
Yes.
So our service that you get is not results.
No.
I would actually like to have not show you any results.
Yes.
You know, like just give you my
Advice.
because
Yes.
that's the value.
Exactly.
Right? And right now we have done the last 5 years, we've done work on habitats. So I can
Yes.
give you, you know, advice on what kind of aquarium you have, like
Yes.
LPS, SPS, you know what I mean? Like mixed
Absolutely.
reefs,
Yeah.
we have clams, they're all different,
Yes.
right? So the point of this knowledge is it's just in Triton.
Yes.
There is nobody else at it. You know, that's our IP, our work over 16 years, and I will not give it away.
No, of course not.
So realistically, you need to see it from that perspective. It's very difficult for people because they think like, oh, it's like a nitrate test, you know, I just send it away and get my nitrate. Like, okay, everybody can help me with it. That's not the case.
Yes.
You know? So we always ask, when it comes to ICP and trace elements, always should ask, where is your knowledge from?
Yes.
You guys just tell me what to do. Where is your knowledge from? Where do
Yes.
you know that? And if he says, oh, I've done it on my own, on my tank, that's no knowledge. I know, I have a facility where I, you know, grow corals or whatever, that's no knowledge. It's not enough. You know, you need a lot of data. We have the most of the data sets that on all this planet. We have the biggest database. We have 5 machines operational. That's a total different thing. Just to let you know, because I hear something. So it's just like this is a very important thing.
All good. So I mean, the takeaway for end users really is that they should probably be focusing on the data and help tabs that
yes.
you guys
Yes.
provide. The help and advice tabs more
Yes.
so than just the data.
Yeah, especially I would say, and I said that I think in the podcast too, 70% is error correction. So 70% is help desk.
Yes.
Helping you.
Yes.
What have I messed up?
Yes.
Fix it.
Yes.
Right? No, generic things, right? It will detect them. I have too much copper. I dropped this. My daughter put beer in my tank. Things like that.
Yes.
Right? Because they happen, right?
Yeah, of course.
And they're really bad. Much worse than not having a trace element in your aquarium.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like the dosage part is, look at it 20%. So it's 80% error correction, 20% dosage, right? I have changed my mind a little bit. If you look at my talks from 2014, 2012 and stuff, like in America, Vancouver, wherever I was, I always said 80-20. Since we do the work here, it's getting more 70-30.
Yes.
Because that's kind of the thing that when we gain more knowledge about trace element dosage, real knowledge, not just I wake up and I have this idea that, you know, I just put this in, real knowledge, then it's getting more important.
Yes.
Then it's getting more beneficial. And that's, in the moment, I would say 70-30, but yeah.
All right, now that we've gone through the process, we see what it takes from the point of putting your samples in the mail and then coming here, going through the process machine, getting the results, getting checked across multiple standards and even personally by yourself before being sent out. I've now got my results and I've had a look, and there are a couple of things that I can work on to really get my dream reef back up where it should be. So I really appreciate, I was going to say the results that I got for the test there, but I even more so really appreciate the time you've taken to explain the process, because I've been in this hobby for 12, 13, maybe 14 years now, and I've never really understood how ICP worked. I never understood the difference between OES, MS, never really understood any of it. Just knew that I put my sample in the mail and I got my results and some advice to go with those results. And lifting the curtain on that has been a monumental part in my reef keeping time in this hobby. So I really appreciate that. I know you've put endless amounts of work into this process, and it would be completely understandable for you to cover everything in curtains and say, no filming, don't tell us anything, but you're such a stalwart of the industry that I mean, obviously you have some intellectual property that we haven't shared here, but your willingness to explain how ICP works and explaining it to the end user and the average reef keeper is amazing.
Yeah, thank you, man. But it's very important for me as the owner of this company to be transparent. So people misunderstand the word transparent sometimes. I can't reveal IP. I need to, you know, people that buy a Triton product, they actually buy into us reinvesting into the hobby.
Yes.
You know, like we've done that. We've proven to do that every time. Like
Yes.
we went new machines, or boat,
Yes.
or you know, like we came here, we live here now.
Yeah, you just upped and moved to the other side of the
Absolutely.
planet. Yes.
And that's all because we got support by people buying. So you get that when you have Triton, when you support us with running your tank Triton, which makes you very successful. But on the other hand, we don't stop. I'm not going and buying 5 Ferraris. You know, I'm keep going. We keep
You're an
going.
aquarist. You're a hobbyist as
Exactly.
well.
I want to know, and I want to keep going, moving this
Yes.
hobby forward. And we did that. We did
Yes.
that over the whole time. Never stopped it. And right now, obviously, a lot of the things that you use is based on our innovations, right? So ICP, you know, trace element dosage, whatever. And that's quite important to me for you to understand. It's kind of the philosophy behind it,
Yes.
right? But one part of the philosophy is the transparency part that we always did. This is why I said in the beginning, like maybe we messed it up a bit.
Yeah.
You know, we forgot it. You know,
Yes.
because people coming new to the hobby, they've never seen that.
Yeah.
And you 12 years in there, so maybe we messed it a lot. Like,
No,
you know?
no, it's a two-way street. I needed to reach out and find out a little bit more.
yeah. I mean, but what happened is this mystery thing, and the mystery thing is not the way it works.
Yes.
Right. So I can tell you from my perspective as a reef keeper, if I want to buy something, anything, like even if I buy a car, I go and test drive it, right?
Yes.
So I'm not just going online and just buy a car if I've never, you know, like it's not going to happen.
Yes.
And you shouldn't do that. Like in reef keeping, people just do it. Like, okay, I'll send my test results away, and I'll get them back.
Yep.
And I've never not even seen a picture of that machine that is doing it, or
yeah.
who is doing it, or what. This is not the way it works. You
Yes.
know, like you really need to be. It is their responsibility to show you as much as they can, like we did over the years. We've proven
Yes.
it to work, so we are kind of the measurement, you know, for all the ICPs out there. You know, it's open. It's very a trust-based service. And we do a lot of things to earn people's trust. We don't sell anything that, you know, not make sense, or, you know, we don't have salt. We could easily produce salt. I mean,
Yes.
I have a facility at the Great Barrier Reef, like for science. It's easy for me to create salt, but I'm
Yes.
not doing that because there's good salt out there.
Yes.
There's things just to look at the philosophy, the way we run the company. And the same thing you need to do when you go to another ICP test, to another bottle, to another, whatever you put in your aquarium.
Yes.
Look for that trust. Why do I trust that company? And or that guy that is telling me on Facebook, ask for it. It's their responsibility. They need to give you that answer before you do something on your aquarium. Very
For sure.
important.
Very
Okay?
important. Well, once again, thank you so much for your time,
No worries.
your expertise, and also for being willing to share all of this information with us. I'm sure everyone out there, like myself, will really have learned something from this video. And if it's just to understand the process of ICP and what it does, I think that's going to be a massive step forward. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing even more of you in the videos in the future.
If you have any questions, just let me know. I'll answer them. No worries.
Appreciate it.
Take care, guys.
All right, guys, there you have it. That is the crew from Triton Laboratories up in Cairns, Australia, taking us through their entire process, start to finish, of what goes through an ICP OES analysis. Now, hopefully I was able to get the level of knowledge that Ehsan has and bring it down to a level that you and I, the average reef keeper, can understand. I know I certainly improved my knowledge around ICP probably tenfold, and I cannot thank the guys at Triton enough for that. It's definitely made me a much more advanced aquarist, and I really look forward to putting some of those implementations on my very own dream reef. Now, don't let this video be the start and end of the conversation. The full team at Triton said if anyone has any questions whatsoever, feel free to let them know, and you can do so by popping them in the comment sections down below. I will personally reply if I know the answer, and if I do not, I will reach out to the Triton team on your behalf, find out for you, and reply down there. And of course, if there is enough demand, I can always make some more videos doing some deeper dives into things like specific effects of various trace elements, the interaction between different trace elements, and of course, anything else you guys can think up. I am definitely keen to have a look at the development and progress of their brand new display tank, because if you ever saw Ehsan's previous display tank in his Triton lab in Germany, you will know that it was absolutely world class. And they are underway in building a brand new Triton Reef 2.0, and it's looking to be something fantastic. So if you want to find out more information about that tank, or even the Triton method as a whole, because Ehsan will be the first one to tell you that ICP testing and dosing trace elements is only one part of the puzzle to the full Triton method. So if you'd like to find out more about that, please do let me know, and I will be more than happy to accommodate you with some extra videos. And of course, I want to give a massive thank you to Ehsan, Linda, Sean, Julian, the entire Triton team up there in Cairns, Queensland, for not only making it possible for me to go there and chat to them, but also for allowing me to film and interrogate with as many questions as I possibly could. It's this kind of transparency that this hobby needs, and I cannot thank the Triton guys enough for making that possible. Other than that, guys, I will probably wrap things up there. I do want to give a massive shout out to all these names on screen here. These people are channel members, and they do chuck in a couple of bucks each and every month to make videos like this possible. I do humbly appreciate all of your support. It really does make everything on this channel possible. So I'm very, very grateful for all of the support you give me. And of course, if you just want to make sure you don't miss out on future videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button and tick that bell notification. That'll just give you a little heads up each and every time we release a new video. But other than that, guys, I will wrap things up there. I hope you have a fantastic week. Until next time, stay safe, keep reefing. Cheers, bye.